Good evening and welcome to the May 20 study session. Clerk, would you please call us to, I'd like to call us to order. Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Mayor Hartke,
Present.
Vice Mayor Harris,
Here.
Councilmember Encinas,
Here.
Councilmember Ellis,
Here.
Councilmember Stewart,
Here.
Councilmember Orlando,
Present.
Councilmember Poston.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Very good. For scheduled public appearances, we have the people of Paragon and Hamilton is in the house. So that'll be some fun presentations. Vice Mayor, please join me up front. All right, for our first recognition, the Science Olympiad team from Paragon Science Academy. If we could have the Olympiad team come on up. So tonight we have the opportunity to celebrate some more exciting achievements of our Chandler students. First up, we have, listen to those medals. Man, there's some serious bling coming up here. So first up, the Science Olympiad team from Paragon Science Academy, who recently placed first at the 2024 Arizona Science Olympiad State Championship. Their outstanding performance has earned them the honor of representing Arizona at the Nationals in Lansing, Michigan on May 24th and 25th. So coming up very soon. We want to congratulate Coach Ms. Colo, the students, and their mentors on this incredible achievement. We're proud of you and wish you the best of luck at Nationals. So let's get a photo. Oh, it's yours. Thank you so much. Congratulations. All right. All right. Thank you, science team. Let's give them another round of applause. And secondly, also from Paragon Science Academy, if Zarina Lingat can come on up. Zarina? No Zarina? Oh, Zarina's not here. That's okay. So who is Zarina? 2 weeks ago, myself and a couple council members got to go to join Zarina at an event where she was recognized for receiving honorable mention in the C-SPAN Student Cam documentary competition. This is C-SPAN's 20th year of the competition, which gives students the opportunity to explore multiple perspectives on topics that are important to us. Her film was on AI, the rise of AI, intersection of technology and humanity. The Terminator did not show up, no. And this was selected from amongst the 1,600 submissions. We were in awe of her work. It was inspiring and impressive. And we want to congratulate Zarina on this deserved honor. And please extend our congratulations to her. And we're proud that she's part of Team Chandler. So thank you, Zarina. Next, we have recognition for We the People academic competition from Hamilton High School. So can we call up Hamilton High We the People group? Come on down. Paragon, they've got a trophy too. So, We the People program works to promote a greater understanding of our constitutional democracy, its institutions, and its fundamental principles and values. As our state runner-up, Hamilton High School went to represent Arizona at the We the People Nationals Finals in Leesburg, Virginia, April 13th through 15th as a wild card team and placed 23rd in the nation. It's exciting to see our young people engaging in civic education, constructive dialogue, and working to better understand our democratic processes. As always, Chandler continues to lead the pack. That's no reference to the Wolf Pack. It's to Team Pack of Chandlers. Congratulations, Hamilton. All right, let's assemble us for a photo.
Okay, we're gonna slide the mayor in the middle, you guys.
Whoa,
There we
it's like the
go.
parting of the water.
Yes.
Make sure you can see me so I can see you. Right. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you.
Thank you, Hamilton High. Congratulations. All right. Oh, thank you so much. Ooh,
We the people.
very nice. I think several of us have been involved in the We the People in the past. How many of you, council, have you been involved with us? Yeah, all on my left. All right, very good. All right, council, we had 2 items called in. Items number 15, item number 19. Both has to do with construction projects. If John Knutson can come up. Councilmember Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor. So John, before the meeting started, you said to me, this is the SRP easement. I'm not so worried about the easement. I'm more concerned about if there's any traffic delays and that the trucks need to be rerouted and obviously outside the neighborhood. So we're sure that this is okay with that issue?
Yes, on item 16, item 15, I believe, the easement related to the SRP um, work necessary to bring in power, additional power onto the Amazon property. I've got an image here on Elmo that shows the map for the, yes, okay. So what they'll be doing is SRP has a contract with Amazon to run additional cabling into their facility to power up additional car charging or truck charging stations. It's our understanding that the conduit is currently in the ground, so the hard part's done. So the black routing that you see there is easement over the existing conduit. So SRP will come in, and it's necessary for them to run cabling through these conduits, which is minimally invasive. You're not going to be shutting down any roads or anything like
Good.
that.
Okay.
There are a couple excavations that are necessary, one up by Queen Creek Road, we understand, to tie that cabling into the existing cabinets. So there'll be a little bit of disruption there. And then potentially at some of those right angle corners, there might need to be some excavations, small excavations necessary. It is not on a major arterial. It's on essentially that park road that exits out of the Amazon facility. So I wouldn't anticipate any rerouting of traffic of any nature, of any
Okay.
large size. So
Great.
that's our understanding of the project. They are to energize by October 4th, so it'll be occurring during the summer months. So anytime from July until October, they'll be out there doing their work. So
Okay, great. I just don't, we've had issues with going in the neighborhoods and I
Yep.
make sure we're good on that. So, okay, great.
thanks.
Appreciate it. And number 19, this isn't a little side road construction project.
No, it's not.
So,
Uh, The item 19 that's before you, Mayor and Council, this week is, I'll say, a long anticipated project. I've been thinking about it for 20 years. And I'm not joking. When I say that, I had wished in my heart that I would be retired by this project, by the time this project came. But that didn't happen. So uh, it is going to be a difficult project. Um, the work we're doing here is we're doing a liner, an in situ liner in the largest pipe in
no, this is, let's put the perspective. This is Price Road
Price Road corridor,
from the 202.
202 south to Queen Creek Road.
Right.
It is the largest pipe in the city, 66-inch, and it's a wastewater line that carries up to 15 million gallons per day. About half of the city's wastewater travels through this one pipe.
Hmm.
So in order to do this liner, and this pipe was installed in the late 80s, I believe. So it's been there. We've been watching it for a long time, assessing it, cameras, all that sort of thing. And it's time. The driver on the schedule for this particular project is in 2027, we have a wastewater facility lease that expires on our facility that is out on the Lone Butte, on the Gila Reservation. So the driver for the project is really getting it done before that lease goes away, because we're able to divert some flows to the Lone Butte facility, therefore decreasing the amount of bypass pumping that we have to do. So that's really the driver, and that's why I say I've been thinking about this project for 20 years. I'm not joking. So it's time to do the project. Um, our staff engineers have worked extremely closely with the consultants and the contractor to come up with the absolute best and least impactful way to do this. And I say least impactful because here we are not excavating, we're not tearing up the entire roadway, we're not going in and replacing the entire pipe. What we're doing is at specific locations, about every 2,000 feet, we'll be setting up a fairly large installation of trucks and cooling systems, water pipes and water systems that we can inflate the 66-inch liner inside of the sewer pipe, and then it hardens up. It creates a new liner inside that pipe, and that is a much less troublesome, invasive way to do a project like this, as opposed to excavating 30 feet down and putting in a new pipe. So this will last between 50 to 100 years. It's a very long-lived solution to pipe restorations, and so it's time to do it. What we're looking at is probably a schedule that will begin in July with some very minor excavations and startup and setup type of work. So there'll be some potholing, which is excavation in the right of way, potentially to find some utilities, but minor impact. And then in August, the full program begins, where they'll be routing all of the bypass piping. And that bypass piping is substantial. So they'll be taking up an entire lane. During this project, intermittently, we'll be occupying with construction 2 to 3 lanes out of the 6, 3 north, 3 south. So we'll do our absolute best to minimize that impact, and it'll be moving. So that impact is going to be moving from north to south as they work that work down to Queen Creek Road.
How many months?
Well, it's going to start in the big work will start in August, and it will continue. The large work will continue until October of 2025, with cleanup work after that till somewhere in January. And I say cleanup work, that'll be maybe some repaving, striping, doing some things like that to just clean up the right of way. But the major work should be done by October 2025.
So the restricted lane then will be moving, is what you're saying? You'll actually move the restricted lanes, right?
Yes, and we'll try to minimize the width of that restriction as the different processes occur. We're installing new manholes along the line as well. So we're not just band-aiding up the old manholes, we're actually going in and cutting in new manholes. And these are polymer concrete manholes that are very, very long-lived so that we can extend the life of that artery as absolutely long as we can in this one effort.
Okay, so, well, we certainly want to get your sleep and for next, hopefully you get the sleep of next 9 months, almost a year, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mayor. You've heard the couple of things here. We have to do this. I get that. Appreciate. But also we're gonna have some lane restrictions. And the communication, that's gonna go out through all of the business owners in that area, or how's that going to work, John?
Well, we have our consultant, our communications consultant, and have already begun some of that, but we'll be contacting those the businesses personally, with mailers, phone calls, direct contact with everyone along that route. And that will be a continuing process through the whole project. And we also have a website that will be given to everybody in the city, actually, that will update. You can go on that and find out, basically day to day. There'll be email blasts as things change, where if you allow it and allow your email address to be input into the system, you'll get email blasts on the progress of the project, and it will be an extensive communication effort.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Poston, then Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. John, thank you. Could you outline maybe some of the benefits in terms of the cost of doing the project this way as opposed to putting in a brand new pipe? And maybe both in terms of the cost to the taxpayers as well as some of the construction timing as well? Because aren't there some advantages to this?
Mayor, Councilmember Poston, yes, there are some great advantages to this. First, the advantage is we don't know if we could find a path for another pipe. Number one, that corridor is extremely busy with nitrogen lines, Southwest gas lines, electrical lines, the underground at 230 kV. There's an awful lot in that small roadway, even though it's a 6-lane. When you start to excavate down to install a 66-inch line, 30 feet deep, you can imagine if you hit bad soil, you're not going to have a vertical trench line. It might cut back, and you might end up taking, not exaggerating, but the entire roadway when you start getting down that deep and that large. So even doing to replace that pipe in its current location, imagine the pump around, which we already have to do with this process, this in situ lining process we're doing. We already have to do the pump around, but all we'll be doing is setting up about every 2,000 feet, shooting that liner, getting it secured, moving on to the next, shooting the next liner. And that's a completely different program than going in and excavating, pulling out 66-inch pipe, reinstalling. You can imagine the difference in that process. Cost-wise, the cost of doing a full repipe, meaning excavation and the whole thing, would be, when we've talked to our contractor, I think contractor was quite optimistic when he said it would be 80 to 100 million. I think it would be dramatically more than that by the time everything was said and done, because the optimistic viewpoint is all the ground is stable. The other utilities don't come in on us as we're excavating and moving by them. So it could easily be at least double and maybe more than that. So large cost savings. Time-wise, I think doing an open cut to put in new pipe, this is a year-ish project. I can imagine an open cut by the time you restore the street and everything else, it could take 2 years, probably pretty easily by the time you'd be done with it. So I think the in situ lining, although difficult, it's the method for this particular project.
Right. And then the end result is pretty close to a new pipe?
It really is.
Okay, in terms of the length of
what you have is essentially an epoxy lined pipe when you're done.
Excellent. Thank you.
And that's really about the best you can get.
Thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you. Thank you so much for asking that question, Councilmember Poston, because I was going to have you compare the pros and the con. So now that you have talking about the pro, what are the good things about it? What would happen? I can imagine if we didn't do this project right now in the time frame, after 20 years of waiting, I can imagine we'll be in a lot up of doodles.
Well, now I usually am the guy that makes the utility joke, and I appreciate your. uh, in this case, we have, it doesn't have to be done tomorrow. But as I mentioned, we have the constraint of the Lone Butte facility leaving our use in 2027. And what that would mean would be if we protracted it that long after 2027, we would probably need to upsize our discharge piping or our end-around piping and our pumping systems, which would increase cost. What we've noticed over the past year is the price of the particular lining process that we are doing and the lining materials that we're using is escalating. I think I was told today about 20% over the last year. So if we continue along that path, the price tag of 43 million, which is a lot, would steadily increase. So we're fighting both of these things.
Appreciate the fact that you are also taking account that the people of Chandler deserve better. And at this point, it's time for us to bite the bullet and move forward to make sure that we give them, a way to be able to get their waste out of their homes.
Well, and the difficulty with this line, it is a single line. That's the only option we have. So it needs to be done. It needs to be done right. So that's kind of where we are right now.
Thank you so much. Communication, right?
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
So John, one question for me. So the terminus of this is the water treatment plant right there, or where does this end, or what is beyond this?
Yes, Mayor, we're heading towards our Ocotillo Water Reclamation Facility, which is on the southwest corner of that location at Queen Creek and Price Road. So that is where that pipe ends and enters the treatment process at that location.
Okay, very good. All right, Council, any additional questions on these? Seeing none, those are the only two called in. That concludes our study session. On Thursday, we do have a public hearing and annexation. We have a action related to our downtown Chandler Enhanced Municipal Services District, as well as voting on the budget. So exciting meeting on Thursday. Council, we'll see you all then.